should I stop making faces when singing? I make quite a bit of facial expressions and I'm wondering if I should stop because I feel like it allows me to add more emotion and allows me to feel in my singing, but is it a bad habit and should I stop? So I recently came across this question on Reddit, and when I scrolled down into the comments, you got a pretty strong general consensus of no, you should keep making faces. Inconspicuous Crab said, don't stop. Have you ever seen anyone sing without moving an inch? Probably Not Real Life said this 1,000 times no. Actually, charismatic singers are a dying breed. Now, I'm going to go against the grain here because I think this only speaks half the truth. And it kind of tackles this question at a surface level because there are definitely going to be moments or contexts in which you don't want to be overly expressive with your face. And so for today, I want to explore this topic or this question at a deeper level. And I'll also share with you a practical exercise at the end, or some of you might even think of it as a test. So make sure to stay right to the end. Now, real quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ivan. I'm a voice teacher who works with students from all around the world over Zoom. And really, on this channel, my goal is to make learning how to sing as simple and as easy as possible. Because let's face it, learning how to sing can feel really, really confusing and really challenging. So if that is up your lane, consider subscribing wherever you're joining me from. Now, if you're looking for more personalized or more help with your singing, links are down in the description on how you can work with me privately. I do offer one-on-ones over Zoom and also some self-study programs that you can work through at a step 1, step 2, step 3 manner. Also, if you want to inspire our next episode, let me know down in the comments what you want me to talk about next. Anyway, let's dive in. Now, the first thing I'll say is this. There is truth in these answers. When we are performing, when we're on stage, when we're delivering an emotional piece, we want our body language and we want our face to express that as well, to express that message. I'm sure some of you might have watched performances where the performance is just a bit more like dull or lifeless. It feels like they're not really into that performance. So it is really, really important. However, there are definitely scenarios where you don't want to be so expressive, where you don't want to be kind of moving your body so much. And as you might have guessed it, the problem is when these movements, these expressions, movement of the bodies, it's not a choice. Rather, it is a crutch, especially when this is a crutch to get to some of those higher notes. And the reason why is at a fundamental level, all that really needs to happen to sing a higher note is your vocal folds, which is somewhere inside of your neck. It just needs to stretch and thin out. This is how we kind of adjust for pitch. And so by nature, pretty much everything else is unnecessary. And it can actually even become a problem because when you kind of get into this habit, every time you sing up higher, you have to contort your face, you have to do certain things just to make the note happen, then it's going to start to feel quite tiring. And sure, maybe you can say that you're feeling it, you're giving it more emotions, you're kind of giving it more oomph, but I might say that it's just a lack of independence or a lack of control of your vocal folds. And so this actually brings us to an exercise or a test, which is, on a very, very simple exercise, can you go up and down your range without having to move your face, without having to distort it, without having to do anything, right? In fact, it can almost kind of keep this very this kind of like lazy kind of feeling, like this lazy kind of expression. You can actually keep that as you kind of move up and down your range. For example, if I go, so you should be able to cover a fair amount of your range without having to kind of do anything unnecessary with the face. Now, if you can kind of do this, and it doesn't have to be this specific scale, it can be these shorter ones as well. It could be really any kind of scale, doesn't matter. Now, for those of you who can go up and down your range without having to kind of change your face too much, just kind of see how high you can take it. However, if you're doing this exercise with this test and you're trying to keep your face kind of more neutral, even somewhat lazy, but it ends up feeling more labored, maybe you feel like you're straining a tiny bit, or maybe you even fall flat, then this is a sign that this is something you really need to spend some time to work on. Basically, in a low to medium range, can I just move up and down my range without having to change my facial expression? Because what this tells me is currently this kind of facial expression is a crutch for you to navigate range. Now, as you kind of do this exercise and you kind of trust the voice to kind of stretch without this kind of extra unnecessary movement, then everything starts to become a bit smoother, a bit easier. And that's kind of the goal here. So that when we come back to a song, all of a sudden you choose to express with your face, not necessarily because you need it to navigate range or to get a bit higher. So anyway, I hope this episode was useful. If it was, please do all the usual social media stuff. It really, really means the world to me. If you're from the podcast, leaving a 5-star review really helps put this podcast and shares it with more people. Really appreciate that. Last but not least, as I've mentioned, if you want some additional help with your voice and you feel like I'm a good fit for you, the links are down in the description. I do offer one-on-one lessons over Zoom and also some self-study programs that you can follow in a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 manner. Apart from that, thank you so much. My name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher. I will see you every single Thursday or Friday for these weekly tutorials. Take care.